These teachers are really awesome.
Every kid has a story, and learning what that story is and how you can get to understand them is so important, because some of them have some really tough stories to deal with.
You see it today, mental health is off the roof right now.
When they don't know anything outside, when they don't see any opportunities, they lose their hope.
For every kid, there is something awesome that they're capable of, and they just have to figure it out, and it's me there to guide them and help them get that far.
I think it's important that they feel safe with us and that they know we care about them.
You're telling me that I have to focus on this in this 45-minute period, but right now all I'm focused on is food insecurity in my home.
The biggest challenge we have in education comes from the impoverished neighborhoods and all the distractions and a lot of the baggage that these kids bring into the building.
Biggest challenge today is probably behavior. And then on the flip side is probably self-esteem.
As many challenges as we face as educators, they faced the same or more as students in this experience.
But I definitely think the outside world and society and what the kids hear and what they bring into the classroom is challenging. You're always fighting that battle.
Their resilience is amazing.
Even though the challenges just seem enormous.
They do a lot more than just teach in the classroom. They're like our main support system outside of our homes, really, and they influence our lives a lot.
Every child is special. They may not always get the A because somebody else's C is their A, and you have to appreciate that.
They might push their buttons, but just being patient with them and understanding that, maybe they're having a rough time.
It's not just about what the district says this child should know by this point of the year.
Education in this country is now driven by a set of results.
Is the curriculum more important, or is the well-being of kids more important?
Whether or not they get this math problem correct is not the biggest deal in the world. Whether or not they feel safe and cared for is a much bigger deal.
It's not just about academics.
So it's never about me. It's always about that kid and making sure that they're the best person that they can be. And that's what inspires me to be a teacher.
Teaching those life readiness skills so that when students leave high school, they have an idea of what they want to do with their lives, who they want to become.
So it's challenging and rewarding when you finally make that connection and you find what works for that particular student.
With everything that's gone on the past couple of years, it's sometimes difficult to see the impact that you're having.
We allow them to own their education, and to me, owning it is personal, and it starts with personal by building a relationship.
I think an important skill to be able to come talk to a teacher or anybody else and say, I'm struggling a little bit right now, and I try to teach them to advocate for themselves.
If we leave out that nurturing piece, then what would encourage them to learn from me?
And every kid is going to get better in their education if they know that one person somewhere along the line valued them and it followed them through.
I think the most important thing is about education is to raise a good person, good, kind, thinking person.
We do a lot of work behind the scenes that people don't fully understand.
But I think when you have a connection with your students, they know that you're trying. They're as invested as you are. So we tried to make it fun.
I think everybody understands and will say how important education is, but really to be able to teach children how to think on their own and be lifelong learners, I think is the most important thing.
I think the most rewarding thing as teachers is that light bulb moment.
I teach because my students make me laugh. My students have made me cry.
Being with them on the same level, accepting, and not being afraid of, of your vulnerabilities,
My students have taught me resilience more than anything.
I need to bring my authentic self into the classroom, and I need to connect with them, and one way is through my culture.
Being yourself is important, and while I've tried to impart that upon them, I found that the more I live it myself, it's easier for them to identify with themselves and feel that, it's okay to be a little quirky and a little different.
It's been really important to me that there are teachers like Ms. Kuntz that are really supportive, and they actually care about you, and they know you more than just a student, so there's a level of mutual respect.
We need to build up the people who want to be here. This is passion driven.
I think sometimes teaching can feel like a thankless job because you're here every day and we're putting in the time, and sometimes it works out and sometimes things don't.
Teaching comes so from the heart. It's a passion, it's a calling. It's not something that you can just obtain as a skill. You know, this skill is the subject, okay? Teaching is more of a calling.
It's not just a job to me. It's really part of me and what I do. Every day is a new adventure because it's never the same thing twice.
And it's just really awesome to see that, you know, that you can make a difference and that your students are going to one day be there and, you know, maybe even be in charge of you.
I would say my students have taught me that it's okay to make mistakes as the teacher.
They're teaching me, you know, they've come to me and said, Mr. Hess, here's what we think you could do better when it comes to teaching things like equity. And I've tried to listen to that, and it's been some difficult conversations, but ones that I think we have to have.
But you're teaching me that everyone is open-minded, and you know, because they're showing that they're open-minded, it gives me more confidence to give them more information and teach more.
It's parents and kids who have said, hey, look, you know what, you matter. And what you do really counts for us. And it made a difference in our lives.
The term building strength in education to me means investing in education.
It's teaching the students to reflect on their own and be willing to seek out criticism and see that as not a bad thing, but an opportunity for growth.
I think it's building the whole child.
Knowledge is strength.
Relationships is how you build strength through education.
Properly funding education and making sure every child has access to the best education possible.
Anything you can do to support the community at large, I think, also does benefit the schools.
And I think that's important for the kids to know that there are places out there that are rooting for them and supporting them.
I think it's a group effort. It's not just the teachers or the administrators, it's the community members and the parents all coming together for that support for the school and for the students.
They're just kids. They're not done yet. They want to learn.
I'm just grateful that you decided to recognize someone in this county as well as other counties that surround us. I won? You won.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's, oh.
It's important to recognize teachers, to praise teachers, to give teachers the credit that they deserve, because teachers shape the future. We really do. And we change lives every day.
Every single educator in this country deserves to be recognized for what they do.
It is an extreme honor, and I'm so grateful that one of my students felt that I touched her life enough to nominate me.
To win the award is really nice because it means that somebody out there, you know, recognized me.
It's a good feeling, very lucky to have students that admire you or love you or want to please you.
I am thrilled to be nominated and win this award.
It's just amazing and just one of the biggest honors I've had in my life.
I still can't believe I actually was nominated and won something.
Honestly, with a great guy like him, he could win anything.
I love my teacher.
I love my teachers because they give me hope.